Okay, before you begin cutting, there's a couple things that you need to know. First off, your positioning. You want to have your shoulders square to the paper cutter. You don't want to be coming at it from the side, coming at it from the back. You want to be facing the paper cutter. You want to have your right hand on the handle. Your left hand is going to be on the paper. Okay. When I'm going to cut this out, the first thing I want to do is I want to trim this. When I trim it, what I want to do first is I want to push my paper up against this little lip right here. There's a little ledge right here, and it's really important that you hold that paper up against the ledge. When I open this, I want to open it with my right hand all the way up. Okay, and one place that I'm looking is right here in this corner. I want to make sure that this is all the way. With my right hand, I want to have my right hand on the paper cutter. My left hand is always on the paper, and my left hand is always staying to the left of this guard right here. This guard protects my hand so that I don't cut it off. As I shift this paper over, what I want to be looking for is I want to make sure that this thing that I'm cutting out right here, I'm not going to cut it off. You can almost use this guardrail as a guide, knowing that it's going to cut. If I look at where it's going to cut, it's going to cut right along this line right here. Okay, if I fold where it's going to cut, that's where it's going to cut right there. So what I want to do is I want to clamp this down. I want to make sure that I'm pushing the paper up against this ledge, all the way flat against this ledge, okay, not crooked. I don't want to be cutting it down here. It always has to be up against the ledge. And I want to hold it down. I want to clamp this down with my hands. As I do that, slowly come down, and I get a straight cut. As I rotate around, now I want to cut off a little bit at the top. Again, I need to open this all the way. I need to push it all the way to the top, and I want to push my picture back just underneath that guardrail. Again, I want to make sure it's all the way up at the top, and I want to clamp it down with my left hand and cut with my right hand. Okay. Next, I want to do the same thing down here. Again, I don't want to go too far because I would cut it off. Clamp it down with my left hand. Make sure it's all the way up against the top. And cut it. Turn it around for my final cut. Same thing, all the way up at the top. Left hand clamps down. Right hand comes down nice and gentle. So I've got my paper right here. Next thing I want to do is I want to put a border on it. As we put a border on it, the one thing that we want to do, get my glue. One thing that we want to do is we put a border on this is we want to make sure that when I put this, I don't want to glue it right in the middle, because then I'm going to have to make 4 cuts around it. In order to get a 1/4 inch border, what I want to do is before I glue it down, I want to put it next to 2 edges of this paper. Okay? I don't just want to put it against one edge. I want to put it against 2 edges. It could be any 2 edges. I could do it this way. I could do it over here. It doesn't matter, but it needs to be against 2 edges. So I'm going to take a look. That looks like about the size border that I want. Okay, so I get a visual of it. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to glue this down. And I want to be really careful when I put this down. I want to make sure it's straight. And before I press it down, I want to make sure, do I have about the same distance from the picture to the edge of this construction paper as I do over here? Yes, I do. So now I can make sure it's smooth on there. Okay, now it's glued down. My next step is going to be to cut this right here and to cut it right here so that I have a 1/2 inch border. Doesn't matter which cut I do first. The main thing that I want to remember is that I want to have this all the way up against the top ledge. Okay, so I'm going to open this up with my right hand. With my left hand, I'm going to slide this through, and I'm going to slide it until this picture is right underneath that guardrail right there. Just to the edge of the guardrail. And I'm going to go just past it a little bit. Because when I look up at the corner right here, that's where it's going to come down, that cut right there. And so I want to make sure that that cut is going to be about the same. It's going to cut off the same amount so that I have the same size border all the way around. So I'm going to clamp it down with my left hand, and with my right hand I want to cut. And as I look at this, we've got the same size border all the way around. Okay, open it all the way up with my last one. Same thing, I match this up just underneath here. Okay, take a close look at it, make sure that I've got it the right way. I've got it all the way up against here. And there you have it. You've got that nice border on there, and it's a beautiful picture.